Hello, 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 hello. All right. Probably don't cut that. But, I know it's been a little bit since my last video, and I was gonna post another gunslinger video, but I was like, man, back-to-back gunslinger, probably not the move. So I actually ended up playing some IO. JB actually asked about this, and I was like, you know what, screw it, I'll send it. IO is actually not in a bad spot, and it's kind of fun. The defense chance on Chafflare is actually really good, but it's still kind of a punching bag, so you still have to deal with that. Thankfully in this match, people don't really commit anything to me, so I kind of just get the free hit, and for the most part they don't survive very much, so that means just kind of win by overwhelming force, which is nice, but they still do have two healers here, so we're kind of just chilling. I did not really do any like practice or warm-up, so I am out of practice with this spec, but for the most part what you're trying to do is, like, you know, obviously have your dots up, you can auto attack while your gas is up to apply your dot. Obviously you have your cylinder and then the burn gas. Burn gas is really good, sometimes having during gas if you really have bad heat management. It's not a terrible thing to do, but in general I'm kind of like playing a more focused single target build, and the incinerary, not incinerary, there's an option for incinerary to make it AoE. That's pretty good for a cleave if you ever get cleave games. I don't run that one. I run the warhead. The main reason I run the warhead is so I can have better dueling potential. Not that I want to duel an AVA. I really don't want to do that. More so it's just for self-defense, honestly. If I'm getting pummeled by somebody, I got to be able to take them out a little bit faster. But in general, for the most part, I will lose out on some cleave and overall damage potential, which is kind of like how most classes have to deal with, but that's the main reason why I run Warhead, and I probably will never change off of that. And it's just because it's just really nice, and on top of it, it's a really good damage, and it really changes the rotation a little bit, so you can get more gas through using missile head, or missile blast, the Warhead, whatever you want to call the talent, I guess you could say. Overall, I believe I'm running like 4700 crit and 2088 alacrity, which is just slightly over the alacrity threshold. So if you're curious on how to do that, if you can afford alacrity augments, gold ones, you just need 7 of them, and then 2 alacrity enhancements. If we do get a gear increase, that will change, and I'll update on the new best in slot for that. I'm starting to think that we might actually see that here soon, so that'll be nice. And then when it comes to accuracy, I'm just running 1 accuracy enhancement, accuracy stem, as you can see, and then 2 accuracy augments to hit my 5%. And I do think 5% is definitely worth it, because there's a good amount of damage that's actually tied to your white damage. Max shot's huge, and you want to land your serrated, serrated shot? I don't really remember. It's been a little bit, so forgive me. I also never played this on Commando, so not really a assault specialist. But I have read their like ability names before, so sometimes I confuse both factions. And when it comes to like what you're trying to do, usually rotationally, it's really just about like thermal and trying to use your max shot as much as possible. But the problem is that it's a very stationary and channeled based class when you're actually doing your damage rotation properly. And with people running around, you're not going to be able to effectively do that, so you need to kind of freestyle a little bit more. But in theory, you're kind of just like spamming mag shot, and you're trying to reset it as much as you can. It's kind of like how AP plays, but with a lot more steps to it, because you have 2 different dots. The dots don't refresh through like mag shot. That would be really cool if it did. If there was a tactical that actually did that, that would be actually insane. But I think that would be a little bit broken. But you know, you kind of get the ideal, right? So you've got supercharged gas burn. That is a crazy strong dot, and then you have the 2 dots, and then outside of that, you've got thermal, max shot, power shot. Those are your core abilities, and you only really use unload if you absolutely have to. You don't really need to take unload on the move. I don't know actually what I'm taking, but you don't really need that. That's not a thing. Or actually, no, that's baseline, isn't it? Yeah, I think they changed that. I think that's baseline, right? Forgive me. I'm not really a mercenary player, so it's not something that I remember. I think they made a baseline, so that's really good. That was honestly something that I suggested a while ago. I was like, it makes no sense. Like, we were so far into the game, why even have on the move anymore? Just make a baseline. But yeah, you really only use unload during like gas or net plus gas windows, just to have like a filler in between your channels, but also at the same time, typically if you can just channel and your heat's not like destroyed, it's not bad use. And also when you're looking for heat management and you want to use your vent heat, your best abilities to use is Death from Above and Unload. Those are the abilities that you would want to use while you tie that. They'll be basically the most heat and they'll channel for the longest, so you're getting the most out of your vent heat, if that makes sense. The old ideal with that was basically with thermal sensor override, you would tie that with unload, or you would tie that with Death from Above, and you would lose a lot of heat. Sadly, now they're both tied together, so it's not as good anymore, and you can afford to use your vent heat a little bit higher if you're actually using it on one of those abilities, and you're not going to get interrupted on it, I guess you could say. And for the most part, it's like at this point, I kind of knew the game was just already over. We're just gonna absolutely clobber them over and over and over. Their team's just not really doing much. They can't really do much, and for the most part, I'm pretty sure most of them are starting to hide. And I'm just like, you know, I don't know what I'm doing. I'm just mashing buttons. It's like old muscle memory from a long time ago. So overall, I would say, if you wanted to play the spec, it's fun, but just do be aware, this video is totally misleading. This is not your normal point of view. You're probably going to get trained, especially if your team is losing. So if you're not putting up a lot of damage up front, and you're not like kind of just making it a little bit harder for people to hit you, it's going to be unbearable, because the class is a punching bag. Arsenal, just like all three specs, really, honestly. Arsenal is a little bit more of a punching bag because it can't really stop somebody from just completely tunneling it. It does have its net window and whatnot. That really helps, but when it comes to IO, you have a lot of channels, and those channels will just absolutely suck when you can't make space between you and the other player. Which is another reason why Missile Blast proc is a little bit better, because you're able to just, you know, use that as you're moving. Then also, if you guys are curious, the not incendiary missile, but the is it fusion missile? That's the one that will actually spread your dots. I think I used it like once or twice in this match, and for the most part, there's just not much value for me to use it, though sometimes it's not bad. Like here, I had a spread, though that guy's operative, so he can just evasion it if he wants to. And then I know sticky dart is now a thing again. I don't think that actually spreads. It'd be nice if it actually spread too for IO. That'd be nice to add that back into the game. That was really cool. And also sticky dart is also pretty nice because it will persist through stealth. So if you're trying to kill like assassin players, not that assassins need, you know, to suffer any more than they have. You can definitely use it against assassins. It's really good. And if they ever make it to the point where that like spreads dots too, it'll actually be pretty valuable. I believe I'm currently taking the damage reduction on channeling. It's actually way underrated, in my opinion. I think a lot of people just don't really care for it or don't actually really use it. Sometimes I'm not able to maintain it, but for the most part, when you are able to maintain it, the damage reduction is actually really good. Gets you all the way up to 32% damage reduction, which is actually pretty huge. Puts you kind of like on par with some of the tankier specs out there right now. And then if you have shield with that, you are definitely pretty tanky, and it feels pretty good. And you throw that in with Jet Flare defense chance, you really aren't as scared. Like, you'll be able to absorb damage for a little bit, but it won't be like Arsenal level of just fall over, if that makes sense. Definitely doesn't make you like super good because you're still a channeling class, and you don't really just want to be sitting there face taking the damage. But it'll definitely help you a little bit more in like range versus range situations, especially if you're not getting interrupted. Anyway, this match is coming to an end here. Appreciate you guys for watching and hanging out. I know I did stream the other day. If you guys want to watch that VOD, I did publish it. You guys can watch that. Feel free to. I was thinking about maybe uploading it to YouTube. I don't know. If I stream again, I'll let you guys know again. Other than that, I hope you guys have a wonderful rest of your day, and I'll see you again soon.